then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensate for their testing.
Good morning.
Time to get ready for your day with the morning warm-up with Trey Lyle. Join us live on VTRN Sports 93.3 FM or the VTRN Sports app. Open VTRN Sports on your smart speaker or stream live on YouTube. Time to get ready for your day with the morning warm-up with Trey Lyle and Ty Tracy.
7:03 on this glorious Wednesday, April 30th, the last day of April, Ty. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday edition of the Morning Warm-Up. Trey Lyle, Ty Tracy here. If you're watching on our YouTube stream, I'm currently displaying the beautiful photo of Doc Rivers from after Tyrese Halliburton hit and won last night in overtime to make it a 1-point game between the Bucks and the Pacers that the Pacers ultimately won. And Doc got memed again. So if you haven't seen it, check our YouTube stream, youtube.com/@VTRN Sports Lynchburg or the VTRN Sports Facebook page to see what I'm showing. But that's just, that's the face I get sometimes. If you're looking at it, he looks lost. He looks like, what is going on? It's kind of the face I give sometimes when Philip is doing Today in Sports History. So, but I figured that's what we'd start with as we are now here as I fix our stream here. There we go. Fixed our stream. And Ty, good morning. Let's get into it with In Case You Missed It.
Keeping up with sports 24/7 takes some serious effort, especially when you're sleeping. Don't worry, the morning warm-up stays alert around the clock. Now here is everything you missed last night.
So starting with that game, and we'll dive deeper into it probably in the next segment on like what happened with Giannis. We might do it in a moment, but 119-118 Pacers get the win, and 30, 20, and 13 from Giannis. Halliburton gets 26, 9, and 3. Gary Trent showed up again big for the Bucks until the end. He had 33 points in that one. Other big scorer was Miles Turner for the Pacers, but this game comes down to this. The Bucks had a 97.9 win percent probability with 40 seconds left. It was 118-111. They were up 7. Yes. Then it was an Andrew Nembhard 3, a Gary Trent Jr. turnover, a Tyrese Halliburton and 1 to make it 117-118, where we got that infamous photo that I just showed. Then Gary Trent Jr. turns the ball over again. So after having a great night, I mean, he basically was the reason they won game 3. And then Pacers won game 4. So the reason they won game, and then Tyrese Halliburton, they actually switched it to Giannis. So the way the play went, they got a switch onto Giannis, and Halliburton actually like got past Giannis, which I was kind of surprised by. Halliburton hits the game-winning layup. Pacers win 119-118. They advance. They're going to advance to take on the Cavs, because the Cavs, we don't need to talk about that again. The Cavs Pacers is actually a very intriguing series, which we'll talk about when it gets closer to that time. And it might actually start on Friday, because they typically with these second rounds just get them going. Mm-hmm. So I think it will start on Friday, but I'm not. Don't count me on that. But yeah, and then the game. I think the headlines more come from the end of the game. You have Giannis. I think Giannis saw the memes on the internet and decided let's use it in real life. Let me practice in real life if I have to be in this scenario, because he wanted to fight the entire Pacers and Tyrese Halliburton's dad. Granted, these two teams don't like each other. So Giannis got into it with Benedict Mathurin. He kind of like was talking to him post game and like cupped his head weirdly. He was a mobster, and he's like, I'm going to tell you the secrets, kid. And then that's my mobster accent. I know, it was great. And then like Mathurin tries to push him, and it just I don't want to say a melee, but like just everyone converges and they try to separate it. But then also there's this video. So Tyrese Halliburton's dad is excited that his son just hit a game winner, essentially, and advanced his team. So he's like confronting Giannis with this weird flag of his son's face, and is like showing it in his face, and then he gets escorted back to his seat, and Giannis kind of confronts him about it, and you have this very tense moment where they're like head to head, and Giannis, much larger than Tyrese Halliburton's dad. I think it ends with an apology because Giannis does like the pump his chest and like thumbs up after. And he said post game, I just like basically I don't want to be disrespected. Like I don't think what he said was right. To Tyrese Halliburton's defense, he agreed with him. Like he didn't agree with what his pops did. He said that in the post game press conference. Yeah, Giannis did. So I watched. So, and we'll talk about this more, but I will add this. My favorite part of this whole moment is Brook Lopez dabbed up the Pacers mascot, and that is my favorite moment of all this. You have like two melees going on. You have a Giannis confronting Tyrese Halliburton's dad, and then it just cuts to Brook Lopez like dabbing up the mascot, and I just laughed at that, especially because his brother, Robin, has fought plenty of mascots in his day. Yeah. That used to be a running bit. But yeah, so Bucks win. I mean, a Pacers win, Bucks lose. Bigger picture for the Bucks, we'll talk about later. And then Knicks 106 or Knicks 103, Pistons 106. Now that is a 3-2 series. As Cade Cunningham, man, he has lived up to the moment in these playoffs. He might have had a bad game. Like once he got used to it after game one, game two on, he's been awesome. 24, 8, and 8. And the weirdest moment of this game, there was like a minute and a half left. Brunson gets hurt. He like hurts his ankle, has to go out for a second. And Tibbs just can't get him back in the game, even though he has one timeout. And he gets him with like 20 seconds left. And the game was basically over by then. I mean, they had sort of had a chance late. Miles McBride missed 2 free throws to make it the Pistons fouled up 3 late, which is probably the right thing to do. The college idea behind that is now starting to come into the NBA. You have Reggie Miller yelling on broadcast, foul, foul, foul. Yeah. So Pistons get a nice win. They were awesome. Cade's been awesome this series. Knicks, man, I just think you need to feature Cap more, especially in the post. And he seems to be, he can dominate the matchup against Tobias Harris. He only gets 17 points, 14 shots. The shot distribution is getting better as this series has gone on, but Brunson had not a great game. He only had 16 points. I still think the Knicks will win this series, probably in game 6, but I would not be shocked if we get game 7 in the Garden because the Pistons are overachieving for what they're doing.
Yeah.
Paulo Banchero gets in foul trouble. This game was close as the Celtics beat the Magic 120-89 to advance. They'll take on the winner of the aforementioned Knicks-Pistons series. And then the other game I wanted to focus on, Nuggets 131, Clippers 115. And Ty, what did I say at the beginning of the series? Who not to trust? The Clippers. Okay.
I'll try my best not to say James Harden. Please.
Well, I was going to say, you could say James Harden too, because that's what I meant in particular. James Harden, 11 points, 3 of 9 shooting, a minus 16, if you want to look at plus minus. He no-showed. Christian Brown took his lunch money and then some. Yeah. James Harden, we were due for a no-show. I mean, James Harden wasn't great in game 4 either. So this is James Harden in the playoffs, okay? The Clippers are not going to win if Vika Zubac is their leading scorer at 27 points, all right? And the other part of this is, welcome back Jamal Murray. Like, he had a bad Olympics. He had a bad late postseason last year. Like, he hit the game winners against the Lakers, but I don't say he had a great postseason. Like, this is the best he's looked since they went to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this might have been his best game since those games he, like, especially the games he had against the Lakers in the West Finals. You could argue even since the bubble, ironically, when they, beat the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
But he had 43 points, 17 of 26 shooting. This was a game where Jokic had like a bad game for Nikola Jokic, just 13, 10, and 12. Just a bad game for him. That's a bad game for him. And I'm putting air quotes around that.
Yeah.
13, 10, and 12. I mean, if you're getting 21 points from Russell Westbrook off the bench, you're probably going to win. And this series is flipped on its head. I think that, we can go back, Ty, to when I think the soul of the Clippers might have left them when Aaron Gordon hit that game winner. We'll see in Game 6 back in LA, but I suspect that that might be the feeling here.
Yeah, I'm hoping that James Harden will wake up because they definitely
no, it won't. He's been this is like his 15th NBA season.
Yeah, and I'm just hoping he realizes like, okay, we're down 3-2. We need this win to could force a Game 7, and they knew this, and they knew that they're supposed to have this game. But as you said, he was a no-show. Jamal Murray was just hot. He managed to put the Nuggets up top, make the one game away to advance the next round.
Where they'll take, unfortunately for them, they have to take on the Thunder.
Yeah,
but we'll see. I mean, the first couple of games, like there's only been 2 blowouts. It was this game and then the Game 3, but the rest have been 1 possession games. So this easily could have gone this easily could be 3-2 the other way. Honestly, it could be 4-1 either way. So I think this is going 7. I think the Clippers win Game 6 in LA, and then it's Game 7, and in a Game 7, I'm taking the best player in the world. I'm sorry.
Because you don't trust James Harden in Game 7.
Well, I don't trust James Harden in a Game 1, so let alone a Game 7. Yes, you're right. I don't. And I mean, how shocked would you be they win Game 6 and like Kawhi does this weird thing at like in the final play, he lands and just walks off, and then that's the last time we see Kawhi this season. Like I wouldn't be shocked if that happened.
That's Kawhi. You just go get it,
right? Like that's the thing. That's a
Kawhi move.
So all right, quickly the NHL score: Senators 4, Maple Leafs nothing. Toronto, you're up 3-0, and now the Senators have taken 2 back. A classic Maple Leaf choke coming? Maybe. We had a fun game in Carolina last night as the I almost said the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Hurricanes advance over the Devils 5-4 in double overtime. They win the series and 5 games. Kings fall to the Oilers 3-1. Edmonton now leads that series 3-2, and the Golden Knights defeat the Minnesota Wild in overtime as they get the lead 3-2 in that series. So shouts out Carolina, the sort of local team. I think we're closer. I think we're closer to Raleigh than we are DC. I am not good at geography.
Raleigh's 2 hours away and DC's 3 hours away.
So we are closer. So they are the local. Well, and one of the local teams.
Yeah, I think about more down south as well.
Yeah, America. But Canes advance. They will take on. As I look at the bracket, they will take on the winner of the Caps Canadian series, which the Caps are up 3-1 right now. So I'm assuming they're going to take on the Caps, and in a battle of our 2 local teams playing each other in the next round as well. Other headlines for you quickly. Not much. Stephon Castle won Rookie of the Year. Spurs get back-to-back Rookies of the Year behind with obviously Wemby winning it last year. Luka Doncic has actually stepped up and has paid the entire expected cost of restoring a vandalized mural depicting Kobe and Gigi Bryant in downtown LA. Made a $5,000 donation Tuesday to cover the entire GoFundMe page by artist Louis Palsino, Palsino. I don't know. I'm taking a shot in the dark there. Wants to restore the mural tile Mambas Forever on 14th and Main Street. And in a statement, Luka said, during practice, post game press conference, whatever you want to call it. I mean, practice. He's talking to the media. It's always important to give back to the community. They gave me so much, so I just want to give back. Yeah, I think this is a nice, easy way for Luka to tie himself to the LA community. It felt like the Lakers fan base is unique because they've had so many stars. You need these moments where they become a Laker. Like to me. Like people talk about LeBron didn't become a Laker till he gave that speech about Kobe after, the tragedy with Kobe's death, even though LeBron was there for 2 years. And, I don't know if LeBron's never I don't think going to be in the favorite Laker category. Like,
I don't think he's still one of the top.
And I'm not even going to it's kind of the argument with like I think LeBron James is the best player to play for the Lakers or play for the Miami Heat, but like he's not the best Miami Heat player. He's not the best Laker of all time.
Yeah, that's
because
how
to me, like Dwayne Wade's the best.
He made Heat culture and everything.
Dwayne Wade is the best Miami Heater.
Yes,
and like to me, and I'm saying Kobe is the best Laker because it's either Kobe or Magic, and Magic says it's Kobe. So I'm just gonna go with a guy who tweets 2 days later after things happen, and Magic Johnson.
Yeah,
what he said, and it's Kobe Bryant,
the
late Kobe Bryant. My point being with this is these are good ways. I think Luka's going to have to sign a contract extension this offseason to see if he wants to commit to the Lakers. I think he will, because why wouldn't he? It's the Lakers.
I mean, he could start building some pieces around him and try to get to another superstar because you can't.
I don't think they need another superstar. They just need a center, man. You know, if you're 7 foot tall and can
would you be surprised?
Block shots and catch lobs. That's literally like they could just post a help wanted sign.
Would you be surprised? Would you be surprised if they try to go after Giannis if he don't want to be at the Bucks?
Yeah, but like LeBron's guy, like who? Yeah, I think you have to include LeBron in that trade, and LeBron has a no trade clause. And you think LeBron wants to finish his career in Milwaukee?
I mean, how much the years you got in LeBron though?
Yeah, but again, like unless you're trading Luka for him, like. Which, right?
You can't be that crazy to trade Luka. But I'm saying,
I mean, like if you trade Luka for Giannis, I would be like, okay, I kind of understand. I wouldn't trade Anthony Davis for him.
Yeah,
but I'm not Nico Harrison. So other headlines: the third day of the NFL draft drew a record-setting 4.3 million viewers across the NFL Network, ABC, ESPN, Deportes, and other digital channels. As obviously the Shedeur Sanders thing was enduring. In total, draft averaged 7.5 million viewers across 3 days, making the second most watched draft in league history, a.k.a. the NFL is still king. All right, Tahai. When we come back, we'll do Today in Sports History, and then we'll talk more about the future of Giannis Antetokounmpo. You're listening to the Morning Warm-Up on VTRN Sports.
Selection, value, finance options, and exceptional service. Why start anywhere else? It's all in one location at the Used Car Superstore on the Sheeler Motor Mile. And with straightforward pricing and inventory arriving daily, there's no reason to start anywhere else than the Motor Mile. Volume selling means volume pricing, and we've got the volume. The Used Car Superstore is your one stop for most makes and models. Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs, many have miles in the teens, remaining factory warranties, and some are even local one-owner vehicles. Shop over 900 used vehicles in stock now, more than any other dealer in the area. Sheeler owns the finance company, so getting approved for credit is easy on the Motor Mile. With financing options for every budget, you're a valued customer and not just a number on the Motor Mile. The Used Car Superstore on the Sheeler Motor Mile, your premier family-owned car dealer serving Southwest Virginia and surrounding areas for 50 years. I-81 exit 118C in Christiansburg. Call 866-SHEELER1. Always open at Sheeler.com. And we're excited to welcome Honda and Hyundai to the Motor Mile family. Why start anywhere else?
Car insurance rates are rising rapidly. That's no secret. It's because the cost of medical care for those who are injured and the repair and replacement cost of damaged vehicles is skyrocketing. But what can you do about it? Hi, this is Judd Gardner with Gardner Insurance Solutions in Lynchburg. We've been helping Central Virginia drivers purchase the coverage they need at affordable prices since 1993. Talk with us before you pay again. We represent numerous companies and have many cost-saving strategies. Gardner Insurance Solutions, 434-316-5433.
Join us on May 2nd and 3rd for Freedom 424's annual 5K event, Run for Their Lives, brought to you by Thrive Lynchburg Health and Wellness Expo. This combination of events seeks to bring Lynchburg all of the health and wellness resources that it so deserves. Come experience our 5K, our kids' 1 mile race, and an expo with over 50 vendors to give you the tips and tricks you need to stay healthy. We hope to see you out at the LU Indoor Track Complex Friday night or Saturday morning, May 2nd and 3rd.
Hi, Gary the Third here, and I'm excited to say spring has arrived at Gary's Garden Center with great plants and a great selection. Gary's has seasonal color flowers along with vegetables, 60-plus varieties of herbs, perennial flowers, and much more. With friendly service and great advice, we are always happy to answer your questions. Visit Gary's Garden Center at 794 Leesville Road for all your lawn and garden needs. Stop by, say hi, and take a look around.
Do you know what a cold climate heat pump is? They're a new generation of heat pumps from Tara Lee Mosley that provide substantially more heat than traditional heat pumps, even when it's 5 degrees outside. This means your electrical auxiliary heat runs less, saving you big time on your electric bill. And with the recent spikes in electric utility rates, that's crucial. Plus, these new heat pumps qualify you for a $2,000 federal tax credit. Contact Tara Lee Mosley for more info on the new cold climate heat pumps.
Are you ready to move to the next chapter of your life? That means you're ready for us. Hi, I'm Moyanne Harding, the region's only total turnkey realtor and interior designer. We'll come to you and help you decide what you're ready to let go of and bring you top dollar for those unwanted items. Most importantly, we'll sell your most valuable investment, your home. With decades of experience, just hand your keys to us and let the stress melt away. Call me today and book your consultation, www.moyanne.com.
Moyanne Harding, brokered by Keller Williams.
At the Trost Law Group, the only basis upon which we judge ourselves is by the client's success. Everyone on our team understands our responsibility to our clients, which is why we'll do everything we can to be on top of our game for you. If you've been injured in an accident, you need a team who's focused on how they can benefit you. If you've been injured as a result of someone else's negligence, call the Trost Law Group at 777-HURT. That's 777-HURT. And put us to work for you.
Head to lynchburg-hillcats.com to lock in your tickets for the Lynchburg Hillcats this season. Now here's VTR in Sports.
Good morning. We are just getting your day started here on VTRN Sports with the morning warm-up. Stay connected with the show at Trey Lyle VT and Ty Tracy 90 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Listen wherever you are with the VTRN Sports app or watch the show live on YouTube at youtube.com/VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, back to the morning warm-up.
7:25 on this glorious day, Wednesday, April 30th. Last day of April. That's kind of nuts to say.
Yes,
it's gonna be May tomorrow. All right, breaking news, sort of. You want to count this as breaking news? It's sort of breaking news. Matt Zenitz of CBS Sports and 247 Sports is reporting that UNLV grad transfer Jalen Bedford has signed with the Hokies, as averaging 10.6 points per game at UNLV this past season. Averaged 14.6 points and 6.4 rebounds per game during the 23-24 season at Oral Roberts. There we have it. So another transfer for Virginia Tech. You know, they said they were going to be committed to NIL, Ty, and we'll talk more about the Hokies tomorrow. I believe we'll have Andrew Alex on. We finally will lock that down. It's mainly my fault. I forget to text him on the day before, so it's my fault. But hopefully have someone talk Virginia Tech tomorrow. But, Hokies have spit money, and they continue to show it here with another transfer in Bedford.
I mean, they making moves. They try and bring the basketball program back to life, and they knew last season was not like a big disappointment. It was like a lot of ups and downs. They just wanted to get back to the winning side they've been used to.
Yeah, and this is a guy who shoots 35% from three. So I think this could help him. UNLV was a solid team last year, by the way. Obviously, historic program, but I think this is a nice get. A bigger guard, 6'4", 180. Obviously, we'll only have 1 year of eligibility left. So Hokies keep adding to their roster there as well. All right, Ty, you've gone 4-0. It's now time for Today in Sports History.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James.
Many doubted we'd ever see it, but here it is. The return to glory.
It's time for Today in Sports History.
Seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
They go length of the court with Archie Diacono. 3 seconds at midcourt. Jenkins gives it to Jenkins for the championship.
Let's hear what Ty really knows about what happened on this day in sports history.
Ty, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Starting in 1975. This man is named the NBA's third commissioner following J.R. Walker Kennedy, 1963 to 1975, and Maurice Podolph, 1946 to 1963. This man held the position in 1984 where he was replaced by David Stern. Your hint here, he is a very big trophy in the NBA is named after this man.
The Larry O'Brien.
So his name is
Larry O'Brien.
There you go. You said the Larry O'Brien.
Oh, my bad. I thought
you were talking about the trophy. So
yeah.
I just wanted you to clarify. Yes, it's Larry O'Brien, which I didn't know that was a former NBA commissioner. I honestly never knew why it was called the Larry O'Brien trophy.
I would never knew that the whole time. I thought it was just like what he did in NBA or what he liked.
That's why we do this segment.
Yeah.
To figure things out. All right. Going to 1985 in the NFL draft. This Virginia Tech defensive lineman went number 1 overall by the Buffalo Bills. This should be really easy.
Oh, Bruce Smith.
Correct. He has the all-time. He has the most sacks in NFL history.
I just never. What's funny?
Well, you had a 50-50 shot, and if the other one would have been Michael Vick, and he's not a quarterback. He's not a defensive.
What's funny? Like I never knew Bruce Smith was from Virginia Tech from like years ago. It was like years ago.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Well, we weren't alive in 1985.
Yeah, but like a lot of people never like mentioned like where he from college from.
He didn't play under Beamer. It's kind of the same way with Bruce Arians. Like, I didn't know Bruce Arians was for a long time because you kind of remember the Beamer guys, and then as you got older, you realized, oh, hey, there's always that the infamous photo of Bruce Arians holding, which maybe this means Frank missed out on the Barber twins, like he's holding the Barber twins because it was the Barber twins' dad who also played at Virginia Tech.
I think he was roommates with.
He's their godfather.
Yeah,
he was their roommate. So
that's how I remember. I think he was had something to do with that.
So we're now going to 2015. The draft was in Chicago for the first time ever since 1951. The number 1 pick in the 2015 NFL draft was this man. I will say he's one of the most entertaining players in the NFL.
Come on now. Famous Jameis.
It was Jameis.
What are you doing this for? Eat the doves.
Do you know who? Eat a W. Do you know who went number 5th overall to the Redskins? Now Commanders. He now plays for. I think he still plays for the Jags. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. He got cut.
I tell you the truth. I know Jameis went 1, Marcus Mariota went 2.
Dante Fowler went 3, Amari Cooper went 4, and then Brandon Sheriff went 5th. Leonard Williams went 6th. Todd Gurley went 10th. Melvin Gordon went 15th. Marcus Peters went 18th. DJ Humphreys, who just signed with another team recently, it went 24th. Most notably, the Philadelphia Eagles took Nelson Aguilar. Shout out.
Lord.
So, in that draft, other notable picks in this, Landon Collins went 33rd overall. Eric Kendricks went 45th overall. Frank Clark went 63rd to the Seattle Seahawks, Mr. Offsides. Tyler Lockett might have been arguably the best pick in this draft. 3rd round pick to Seattle Seahawks.
I know he was a 2015 draft. He was in part of that draft class. Wow.
Daniil Hunter, 88th overall. Zadarius Smith went in this draft. K1 Alexander, Grady Jarrett went in this draft. Stephon Diggs went in this draft. Super Bowl legend for the Philadelphia Eagles, Jay Ajayi went in this draft. DJ Alexander went in this draft. Quandre Diggs went in this draft. Darren Waller was in this draft. So
I never knew that too.
So a couple notable.
For some reason, I remember I was like I couldn't remember Amari Cooper was the 2014 and 2015 draft class.
Yes, he was the 2020. He was the number 4th overall pick.
To the
I will
Raiders,
say
I
this.
remember that.
You had two. In the top 5 picks, you had 2 Heisman Trophy winners, a Biletnikoff Award winner, and the Outland Trophy winner. And then there's Dante Fowler.
Yes.
So pretty.
But he was the most dominant edge rusher in the college football as well, so it makes sense.
Yeah, he was. Dante Fowler was pretty good. But all right. So this Giannis thing, I showed the photo at the start on our YouTube stream, youtube.com/of Doc, which was just hilarious. And Giannis, like, there's this infamous photo of Giannis going off the court with his hands above his head. And to me, it seemed like a guy who was kind of done with the situation.
It's been frustrating for him, like, for years and years.
Since they won the title, it's kind of fallen all around him. Yes, they've had bad luck with his injuries. But at this point, you look at the Bucks. With Dame's hurt, as soon as Dame tore his Achilles, they were set on this path. They have to compete. Like, their hope is Giannis stays, and he might stay. We've not seen really an international player. Like, if you look at all the players who recently declared it, like, asked out, it's been Americans. It's kind of this weird dynamic where these international players have not. Could Giannis be the first one and make it ugly? We'll see. He seemed like a guy who was very frustrated.
Yeah.
Like, he was so frustrated after the game, he wanted to fight everyone. And, like, I'm not even joke. Like, that's a joke, but, like, half serious.
Yeah, because, like, it's the same thing that always happened to him every year. Is like he never
20 and 13,
and he never have a good supporting cast around him, and he's like
outside of the finals year, like when he had Drew,
Chris Middleton, when they both was there, they was
the
helping.
problem was Middleton got hurt, and then I think they overreacted and shouldn't have traded Drew, where they should have traded Middleton.
Yeah,
in the Dame trade, like getting rid of Drew. Granted, if there was some way they could have prevented him ending up on the Celtics, that would have been a big, like, that was like a double death blow where you got rid of Drew. Like, Drew for, like, Dame is awesome. And, you probably expected more out of Dame. Unfortunately, he's a smaller guard over 30. Like, he was bound to decline. And unfortunately tears his Achilles. But, like, the double death blow was the fact that Drew didn't just end up on this, like, you got rid of Drew. He ended up going, and you didn't trade him to the Celtics. It was, through Portland. Portland traded him to the Celtics. But he ended up on probably your biggest rival, because we were thinking there, like, Bucks, Celtics were the 2 clear teams in the East. And, it made the Celtics this, one of the best teams in the league, getting a guy like Drew Holiday, who, at this point, probably is a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's a 2-time gold medalist. He is a
2-time NBA champion.
2-time NBA champion.
First or second team all defense.
All defensive player.
Yeah.
One of the best defensive guards,
especially in the perimeter
10 years.
Too.
So,
and he makes a huge difference. And I think, like, when you give my bad for interrupting you, but like we added Drew Holiday to the Celtics, a team that was missing one piece. You really made them like the ultimate team that won a championship, along with Jaylen Brown. And that's why, like, when he was with the Bucks, with the Middleton and Giannis, you had 2 good scorers and 2 good perimeter players, like Giannis with Drew Holiday, that could defend really well. That's why I was like, that was putting the Bucks over the top. Even that year after, I think when Middleton was hurt that series, when they played against the Celtics, and they would have won, and Middleton won't hurt or anything, I just feel like that would have been a big help. But now it's like Giannis is really struggling out there. He's not coming with any solution. It just comes with the same results: frustration, short. He's doing everything by himself out there, and it's getting the same. He's getting the same problem every single year during this time.
Yeah, especially once you lost Dame, the series was over once they lost Dame.
I just feel like the first, and going wrong, like during their season, the first beginning season, they was getting a lot of criticized. Like, I think they done. They're terrible, and then like they start turning things around. The Bucks started looking great out there. Started looking great on the court. They was winning a lot of games, and now, but they had a hard time playing against like big top teams as well.
And I don't think you can blame Giannis necessarily. Like, yes, he sort of forced them to trade. I don't want to say forced them to trade Drew, but like the pressure of him leaving caused him to overreact and trade Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
Which, yes, as one of the biggest Dame fans here, like you'll ever meet, like I love Damian Lillard. He's like one of my favorite non-Heat basketball players ever.
Oh yeah.
He's an absolute killer. I think like their biggest mistake was, instead of trading, like if there was a way for you to trade for Dame and maybe get rid of Middleton, like have Dame replace the Middleton role and keep Drew, that might have been better. If you wanted to or just not trade Drew Holiday and maybe use Middleton and the picks you had to get something else. That's probably the mistake they made, because I get it. Getting a guy like Dame, because they really just needed a closer. That's what Gary Trent Jr. was trying to be their closer, because like Giannis, the way he plays, it's hard for him to close games because his skill set is not
he's shooting. more in the box area and everything.
He's just a guy. He's a physical freak that attacks the basket.
Yeah.
Honestly, he was the second best player in the world this year. The way he played at the end of the year, SJ's gonna win the MVP, I think. But Jokic was number one. I think Giannis has now become number two because of the up and downs of Luka's season. And he was awesome down the stretch. And then Gary Trent was being that closer for them. He had 34, but the 2 turnovers late because Gary Trent Jr. Was a role player and was playing above his role. But there's a reason he was a role player.
Yeah,
and he commits those 2 awful turnovers late, and that results in mistakes, and it results in Tyrese Halliburton, who I don't know how this anonymous, was it player poll or GM poll, rated him as the most overrated player in the NBA. I think he's underrated. I think
Tyrese.
Yeah,
he's definitely underrated.
I think he's in the conversation for a top 10 player. I mean, he's in the conversation for the best point guard in the NBA, because do you count Steph and Luka as point guards? They sort of are, but they sort of aren't.
All right, so my definition of point guard is
do you count SGA as a point guard?
A person that can score but can distribute the ball more distribute the ball than score.
Tyrese is a kind of an old school point guard the way he plays.
A definition like a Rajon Rondo, CP3, Magic. That's a score. I mean, that's a point guard. I just don't. Sometimes, for example, Steph, I don't consider as a point guard because you got to think about it. Take away his shooting, he doesn't.
Steph's a good passer. He just turns over
he doesn't distribute the ball, manage to have the game how it's supposed to be. That's I feel like Tyrese is actually a point guard how he's supposed to play.
And with Steph, the way he manages the game, a big factor. Steph, you could argue if you put Steph's best asset is him off the ball and the way he can space the floor and his movement off the ball. He's one of the best at moving off the ball in the NBA, where you'll see those plays where he'll throw it at Draymond on the elbow, and then Steph kind of he'll do the full wraparound and then do the dribble handoff and shoot the 3 and splash because he's Steph Curry. So my point being with Tyrese is I think he's one of the, if you had to make rank the 10, the 15 best players in the world, he's probably in the top 15.
And he's still young and growing and stuff. Yeah, that's one thing I'll say. I think the Pacers.
I think the fact that the Pacers stole from the Kings and they traded him for, and this is not a dig at Sabonis. They traded Sabonis for him. They upgraded. In terms of their offense, especially how Rick Carlisle wants to play with. He's the perfect guy for.
I was about to say their play style.
Wants to play really fast.
Yeah, that's how the Pacers always been. They always been a fast paced team and everything.
They live up to the Pacers mindset. All right.
Yes.
So, Ty, we'll end with this. We'll have the offseason to kind of speculate even more, but we're going to recklessly speculate real quick. All right, we're beginning next season, and we have more. We can talk more about the playoffs as they develop.
Yeah.
We touched on in the first segment about the Clippers. James Harden just didn't show up. Shocking.
He said shocking.
I mean, that's James Harden's career.
I won't say that's not shocking. That's just an everyday thing.
James Harden not showing up in the playoffs, shocking. All right. Giannis Antetokounmpo will be on what team at the start of next season?
Oh man, that's tough. I feel like he will stay at the East. I would say Miami Heat, but
I'm going bold.
What are you going with?
The defensive nightmare that will be displayed by the San Antonio Spurs.
Don't be surprised if that could really happen.
Wemby and Giannis, and I guess De'Aaron Fox.
Yes.
Like De'Aaron Fox be like, look at all this space I have with these two physical freaks.
And you can run a pick and roll as well with Giannis
and Wemby.
Yes.
So that if I'm the Bucks, my first call is like, oh, you want to trade? Give us Wembanyama. Like that's what I would do.
They ain't gonna do that now.
No, I know they wouldn't, but that's what I would if I was the GM of the Bucks, I'd be like, you want? Oh, okay, give us Wemby, and then it'd be like, all right, give us Steph Castle. So, all right, we're gonna go to break. When we come back, Bryson Gordon, newsadvance.com, joins us to talk a lot about Liberty. They are very active in the portal. Also, he needs to know the Yankees 1.5 games up on his precious Red Sox. So, womp womp. All right, we'll talk about that, but we'll mainly talk about Liberty in the portal next year on the morning warm-up. It is 7:43.
Your home is more than just walls and windows. It's where life happens. And at Right Choice Construction, we get that. We're not just builders. We're fathers, mothers, neighbors, just like you. And every nail and every beam reflects our commitment to creating a place you're proud to live in. With Right Choice Construction, you're choosing a team that's been perfecting the art of building for years. So build with us, build with experience, build with quality, build with Right Choice.
Hi, Gary the Third here, and I'm excited to say spring has arrived at Gary's Garden Center with great plants and a great selection. Gary's has seasonal color flowers along with vegetables, 60-plus varieties of herbs, perennial flowers, and much more. With friendly service and great advice, we are always happy to answer your questions. Visit Gary's Garden Center at 794 Leesville Road for all your lawn and garden needs. Stop by, say hi, and take a look around.
Are you ready to move to the next chapter of your life? That means you're ready for us. Hi, I'm Moyanne Harding, the region's only total turnkey realtor and interior designer. We'll come to you and help you decide what you're ready to let go of and bring you top dollar for those unwanted items. Most importantly, we'll sell your most valuable investment, your home. With decades of experience, just hand your keys to us and let the stress melt away. Call me today and book your consultation, www.moyanne.com.
Moyanne Harding, brokered by Keller Williams.
Join us at the Thrive Lynchburg Health and Wellness Expo on May 2nd and 3rd at Liberty University's Indoor Track Complex. Meet over 50 vendors, including physicians, gyms, and a wide range of health and wellness experts. Enjoy free admission, fun activities, and educational sessions for the whole family. For more information, visit thrivelyh.com. We hope you come see us at Liberty's Indoor Track Facility on May 2nd and 3rd for the Thrive Lynchburg Health and Wellness Expo.
Experience, reputation, growth. These are what make Brownstone Properties the area's most trusted property management company. With the recent addition of 15 new communities at Smith Mountain Lake, we have expanded our HOA portfolio to over 80 communities across the region. Combine these with over 2,500 residential units, and it's easy to see why our reputation and business continue to grow. Let our experience work for you. Visit us today at brownstoneproperties.com or 3720 Old Forest Road in Lynchburg.
Car insurance rates are rising rapidly. That's no secret. It's because the cost of medical care for those who are injured and the repair and replacement cost of damaged vehicles is skyrocketing. But what can you do about it? Hi, this is Judd Gardner with Gardner Insurance Solutions in Lynchburg. We've been helping Central Virginia drivers purchase the coverage they need at affordable prices since 1993. Talk with us before you pay again. We represent numerous companies and have many cost-saving strategies. Gardner Insurance Solutions, 434-316-5433.
Few things are more majestic than nature as long as it's outside your house. Unfortunately, when wildlife gets inside your chimney, it leads to problems for your chimney and your house. Prevent this problem with Black Goose Chimney Service. They provide one-time solutions to ensure the wildlife stays outside your home. And if you've had wildlife inside your house, Black Goose Chimney Service can deal with the aftermath and make sure they don't return. Call Black Goose Chimney Service and visit them at blackgoose.net.
The feel of the beach is perfect. Relaxing with family and friends. Bonding over memorable meals fresh from the seas. It's a beach experience, and it's in our backyard at 801 Raw Bar in downtown Lynchburg. They're family-owned and family-operated, bringing you that relaxing beach house vibe while you enjoy the freshest seafood from our region, including raw oysters, king crabs, and snow crab. Not really a seafood person? Try their fresh handcrafted burgers, subs, pizza and salads. Step into the relaxing beach house vibe at 801 Raw Bar on Church Street in downtown Lynchburg.
Good morning. We are just getting your day started here on VTRN Sports with the morning warm-up. Stay connected at Trey Lyle VT and Ty Tracy 90 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Listen wherever you are with the VTRN Sports app or watch the show live on YouTube at youtube.com/VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, back to the morning warm-up.
7:48 on this glorious Wednesday, April 30th, final day of April. Welcome to the morning warm-up. Trey Lyle here, joined by Bryson Gordon, newsadvance.com. Joins us talking all things Liberty. He, of course, is a fan of he is a fan, unfortunately, of the Boston Red Sox, as he mentions on his Twitter at Bryson Gordon. But, the second place Boston Red Sox.
One win behind. We'll catch that up today.
So just behind the Yankees, which, folks, is as the season rolls on, that may or may not be a theme of the start of these segments. But let's talk about Liberty. They are completely busy on all facets of the athletic department. Let's start with baseball. The game you could have heard yesterday right here on VTRN Sports. They destroy Virginia Tech 13-4. Hokies have struggled of late, but Liberty takes advantage of that. 19 hits, 13 runs, 6 runs, 6th inning. This has kind of been the theme of their season for Liberty. Great in the non-conference, great in the midweek games. And then we go back to this past weekend against Kennesaw. They fall in the series 2-1. It seems to me this is kind of in a weird season where Liberty, where the highs have been great, but they've also had a lot of lows.
Yeah, if you would have said at the beginning of the season this Liberty team would be sitting before May 1st, they have 6 ACC wins, and you just stop there. You stop with that sentence. I think you look at this season as an unbelievable success, right? You would assume that you would have more than 7 Conference USA wins at this point. You would assume that you'd be right there in the thick of things for first place. The Conference USA results haven't been quite what they would want. Like I mentioned, 7 and they're 7-11 overall in Conference USA. They have 6 ACC wins in non-conference play. I think the one thing, a lot of these Conference USA losses are very close. It wasn't as much the case against Kennesaw State, who has kind of showed themselves to be one of the better teams in Conference USA. They are definitely in that top 4 tier with Dallas Baptist and Western Kentucky and some of the other teams at the top of the league. But I think that, Liberty, obviously you get an opportunity this weekend against Sam Houston, who is dead last in the conference. These are the opportunities you got to sweep and really get yourself settled into the tournament at the 8th seed. And maybe you can even pick up a couple spots. They have some tough series coming up. They have FIU next week. They finish off with Dallas Baptist. So these are 9 games in conference play that are going to be interesting for their hopes and really interesting for their seeding. But yeah, the win that they had last night, you think you see that team against a Conference USA team and you think they wouldn't, you would think that they would have a winning record in league play, and it just kind of is the disconnect this year between the midweek and the conference games for Liberty.
Yeah, obviously they're under a first-year head coach, so this is a different era of Liberty baseball. Do you think that may be a part of it, just because this is still a coaching staff that's trying to implement what they want, their vision, and I don't want to say they don't have their players because they've added. I know they've added through the portal and. This is still a pretty good roster to have six ACC wins. I'm pretty sure some ACC teams can't even say that. But is this just something you might see typically from a first year head coach in terms of the inconsistency?
Yeah, I think that there's some questions. Obviously Liberty used some really good pitchers in their midweek games. It's something that a lot of teams don't really do. Cooper Harrington is a really good freshman pitcher for Liberty who seemingly comes up a lot in these midweek games. Liberty has not been afraid to use some of their best arms when they get ahead and they want to secure these wins over some midweek games. And so you don't really see that from the ACC teams in these situations. A lot of times the ACC teams are trying to get through the midweek games because they realize the attrition that a weekend series can put on your bullpen if you don't save guys for that. So teams like Virginia Tech, teams like UVA, whenever they played Liberty, they weren't, I would definitely not say holding back. They're sending their A lineup out there every single night. But there's just a little bit of a step back in the bullpen arms and certainly the starting arms that Liberty sees. that doesn't matter. I mean, you put up 19, a season high 19 hits last night and 13 runs against Virginia Tech. It's impressive. But like you mentioned, the disconnect between the Conference USA and the non-conference schedule, I think it does come down a little bit to depth. I think it comes down a little bit to not having exactly the right pieces that Bradley LaCroix and his team wants. They have 26, 27 new guys on this team. They have a lot of great players. Landon Seeley is a really good freshman who's going to be one of the better players for this team should he stick around for at least 3 years. And Tanner Marsh was a great shortstop last year. He's doing really well this year. So there are really high level pieces. I think when you get towards the bottom of the lineup and the bottom of the roster, that's where the difference is kind of felt, at least in Conference USA play right now, because these other teams are coming at you consistently, with 9 deep, and Liberty isn't just quite there in LaCroix's first year, I don't think.
On the other side of the diamond, or the other diamond in Lynchburg, is the Liberty Flames, who are really, really good. Dr. Dot Richardson has another squad out there, 41-10 overall, 20-3 in conference. They've already clinched the Conference USA regular season championship. They have a matchup today against number 24 Virginia. They're ranked at 25th in the season. How good is this team? And is this a team that's going to be poised for another postseason run where it feels like every year they're inching closer and closer, at least getting to a super regional, which I think ultimately would be the goal for this team?
Yeah, I think they got to be fed up, going to regionals. As nice as it is to be able to just say you made the NCAA tournament regionals, they literally cannot come closer than they did last year, right? They were a runaway, they were an out away from making their first super regionals down in Georgia, and they kind of lost it there at the very last second. So I would think that a super regional is the goal of this program, not just to make another regional. I think hosting a regional was something that was maybe in the cards for a little bit this season. It seems like it slipped out of their reach as they fall out of the top 25. They re-entered yesterday to the 25th spot, so they're hanging around. I think there are a couple midweek wins that they could have slapped on their resume and really had a good argument to be a host team in the regionals. But I think they're certainly going to be, if not the most dangerous, one of the most dangerous non-host teams regional weekend should they not host, just because of their pitching depth. I mean, softball, you're a really quality team if you have one or two good arms. Liberty has 3 really high quality arms with Kalen Yoder, Paige Bachman, and then that doesn't even mention the Conference USA preseason pitcher of the year in Elena Escobar, who was 18-2. I mean, to see a pitcher 18-2 in softball, baseball, that's impressive no matter what sport it is. And so they are really talented. You can tell whenever they get in the field in Conference USA play on the weekends and you watch them, the level of talent is just entirely different, right? Liberty is, they have players who come off the bench who would be starting for a lot of these other teams. Dr. Dot Richardson has done an incredible job, cultivating talent, cultivating this program into what you want it to be. And I think if you're somebody who is in administration at Liberty, if you're a Liberty fan, this is what, a coach sticking around and building a successful program. This is kind of the ultimate, mark of it at Liberty, just for what you've done for this program and built it into, it's a legitimate national, I wouldn't say power because they haven't necessarily made the super regionals, but it's a legitimate nationally recognized program because of what Dot Richardson's done here recently.
So we touched on this. I kept asking you, when would Liberty get active in the portal, and boy, have they. You can check the portal tracker out at newsadvance.com or at Bryson Gordon, which he kind of breaks down all the additions. They've added 4 on the defensive end. Kentucky cornerback Quavo Marshall, Florida State defensive end Aaron Hester. Among notable, they added a kicker in Tyler Black. They added Kendi Smooth is his nickname, I guess. Bailey, which was a 2026 commitment. They've been busy. They just signed a Hampton safety, Jaden Whaley from Hampton. They've been busy on the recruiting trail, both in 2026, as mentioned, with the Bailey defensive back, but most notably the portal. Of their commitments, who is maybe the most intriguing person for you in terms of what they've added so far?
Yeah, I think the 2 guys who have the most playing time, some of these guys don't have much playing time. You mentioned the Kentucky transfer Quavo Marshall, who doesn't have it all. I'm intrigued by Quavo Marshall. I think that sounds like, if we can get Quavo down here in Lynchburg, that sounds kind of exciting. But I think I think the Purdue defensive lineman, Joe Strickland, he seems like he's somebody who, you look at the measurables, he's a huge guy. He stands out. And I was looking at some of his, stuff over at Purdue. I don't necessarily think that he's somebody who's going to come in and be what TJ Bush can be, but Strickland looks like somebody who has the tools at least to be a really high quality defensive line piece for Liberty. It's funny, we talked a week ago at the same time, and they had no additions in the transfer portal. They had one junior college addition on the offensive line that they made, and it just shows the quick nature, right? They've added all these defensive pieces. Tyler Black at kicker is going to be somebody who's likely going to compete for the starting job, given the fact that there's just one true kicker on Liberty's roster. And so I think this is going to be a situation where all these guys are going to have to come in and raise the floor, raise the baseline for the defense, because I think we talked about all the attrition in the portal. It's key. It was big time. And so Strickland's one I think will be a big piece. The linebacker transfer from App State, Darrell Farrar, will probably be pretty key. So it's I'm sure they're not done adding in the portal. I think it's going to be another situation where, like I said, all across the defense now, everybody's going to have to raise their level a little bit, kind of like it was last year whenever you were losing, Tyron Dupree, who was the leading tackler, and Joseph Carter stepped up at linebacker. I think everybody around the team is going to have to elevate themselves just a little bit to make the defense as good as it was last year after all the losses we've seen recently.
Best place to follow all these commitments, this home stretch for baseball and softball, is at Bryson Gordon, newsadvance.com. Joins us. The only negative about him, he is a Red Sox fan, but I try to forgive that each week, and I allow him on every other week, so every week. So I appreciate you hopping in this morning, and thanks for the insight.
Yeah, we'll see if you continue to have me on as we pass you guys in the standings and put you in our rearview mirror the rest of the season.
Wow.
I mean, when's the last time the Red Sox were in the playoffs? That's all I gotta say. Hey, by the way, speaking of the Red Sox, they were on the other side of this. Catch of the night, probably catch of the season, happened in the Blue Jays Red Sox game last night. The Blue Jays center fielder caught it. Like, I can't even do it myself, but like, he caught it behind the back, but like, he couldn't control it with his glove, so he flipped it to his hand and switched it. So check that highlight out. I know Bryson was pretty upset that happened, but thanks so much for joining us this morning, man.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you having me on.
And that will do it for today on the morning warm-up. Tomorrow, hopefully we'll have Andrew Alex on, plus react more to the NHL and NBA playoffs. So much more on the morning warm-up. Thanks so much for joining us today. Thanks so much for listening to the morning warm-up on VTRN Sports 93.3 FM W227 BG.